I spent too much of my life tolerating bullshit. Too often and too much. I tolerated shit that I didn't need to tolerate. And I thought that in tolerating the bullshit, it would make me a white knight, right? This gladiator, the shining prince, all a facade, all a fantasy. What I want to talk about today is how you can let go of those fantasies of wanting to save those that are not savable and learning how to take care of yourself and simply not being an annoying person. That's really half the battle when it comes to these things. The battle comes at a time when you are least expecting it and oftentimes not always prepared. But it's time that we revive the spirit of the humble. It's time we revive the spirit of the just and the righteous. But to do that, we have to kill these illusions that we hold in our own minds. They're not always true, and they are not always good in the ways that we want them to be. The truth is that a lot of people don't know what's coming. They don't. Everybody that is corrupt in the world keeps showing us just how corrupt they are. The evidence has become so overwhelming that I really don't even know where to start if I would start. Because you'd have to be... Well, George Carlin, a comedian, said that the American dream is something that you'd have to be asleep to believe it. No truer words said at this point in time. For all of those people that are not in America watching my channel, and I have to say that it's very cool to be a part of a community that is so broad. I mean, I have people all around the planet that are commenting or emailing me about my videos and the things that I have to say. And what's so interesting is how you can communicate cross-culturally in a lot of these ways. And it makes me think about the Bible verse about Abraham being the father of nations. To be a father of nations is simply to be in the understanding and in the awakened process and in the awakened state by which you understand that there really are no nations. A nation is like a name, right? A nation is like a name. You belonged to that name of that country. And so, of course, there are different ways that you can get different kinds of citizenship in other places and all that, but I will always consider America my home because that's where I'm from. It's where I was born. But to all of those people that are not in America, and to all of those people that are in America, America is not looking so good. Politically, economically, culturally, psychologically. And I try to come at these topics that we talk about from a psychological and philosophical point of view, because it is clear to me that we must talk about the deeper issues in the society as much as it is uncomfortable to address them. But it's also the case that we must make a change. Specifically, I'm speaking to my American people. My brothers and sisters across the world can hear this message. But right now, to America, to my fellow citizens, if you think that the mainstream media is going to prepare you for what's coming next, you got another fucking thing coming, man. They're not going to prepare you. They want to distract you. They want to mislead you. I don't really trust any kind of media that is mainstream now. I take it all with a grain of salt, sometimes a pound of salt. Because that's what you need to get through the day sometimes when you're watching these things. Because I do believe that it's good to keep up to date with everything. I do believe that it's important to keep up to date with everything that's going on in the world as much as we can. But at what point do you start to just say, like, my mom once told me a story. She used to play Connect 4 with her grandfather. And I don't know if you guys know the game Connect 4, but, you know, there's this, like, board that's in front of you, and you got to drop the red or the blue, like, coins into each slot. And if you can get 4 in a row, you win. But you have to take turns going one at a time. It's like a lesser version of chess, right? Because chess is like the ultimate pinnacle of strategy games, one-on-one, so on and so forth. But Connect 4, my mom told me that she would, when she was about to win, her grandfather would just sweep the Connect 4 game, and we'd have to play again because he didn't want her to win. And I don't know if that was like a playful thing that he did or if he was serious or not. I don't actually know exactly, but I know that story. And that's kind of what it looks like to me. It's like every time the people are about to win the game, certain other people in the world try to just flip the board over so nobody wins, and then they have to start again. Well, at what point do morals and ethics truly matter in the realms of love and war if your adversaries or lovers are not playing fair? This is a question that I've pondered a lot. This is a question that I've often asked myself over the years. And the best answer that I can give, the best answer that I can really spit out is to not be annoying to other people as best as you can, and to learn how to take care of yourself. If you learn how to take care of yourself, if you learn how to be disciplined, if you learn how to be independent in all that you do and all that you are, you won't have need for anybody else, really. As far as like resources are concerned, we still need people. So what do we do? Well, we have to get back to our agricultural roots. That's what made human beings so dynamic in the first place, is that we found out how to farm. We found out how to grow things in large scale. We found out that the soil was Mother Nature's greatest gift. We can, in fact, feed all of humanity today if we just had the proper resources available, or not even available, if we just directed the resources to go where they needed to go. We would have no world hunger. We'd end poverty. But what do we do instead? Well, it's a dog-eat-dog world. You've got to watch out for yourself. That's really where we're at in our society. And we have to revive that old spirit of humility within us as well. That spirit of humbleness, the spirit of gratitude, the spirit of appreciation, the spirit of love itself. And not put these spirits above God per se, but to put these spirits in the realms of everyday life. And that's what I strive to do each day. It doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Yes, I try to stick to myself as much as possible. I don't like to talk much unless I have to, outside of my inner circle. But there are times when I don't really, it's not like how do I say it? It's like I don't want to not say something. I actually have to say something. I have to call something out. I have to call a spade a spade. And that is God. For me, that's God's will speaking and working through me. Because as spiritual people that are of goodness, justice, and beauty, we must be capable of calling out evil. We must be capable of calling out lies. We must be capable of calling out falsehoods. And we must be capable of speaking the truth into being the best to our ability. The alternative is we either end up in famine or tyranny. And if you don't believe me, then we need to talk about the horrors of the 20th century, even more so. The fact that we are even here at this point in time, after what happened in the 20th century, just says a lot about our attention span as a species. We're always caught up in the pleasures of today, but never thinking about the spirit of now. Generally speaking, human beings are. We're so concerned about tomorrow, which doesn't exist. Tomorrow is a concept. We're still flying around on a rock, a gigantic rock orbiting a humongous ball of fire in the middle of open space. That does not change your concept of tomorrow. If all the human beings, God forbid, were falling off the face of the earth today, right now, the animals or the plants or anything else around, they would just keep living their life. They wouldn't think about tomorrow, quote unquote. They would just keep living. And so what I propose is that we do the same thing as human beings. Of course, the calendar is of an enormous utility. what I want to focus on is the actual progress that life is itself striving toward. So my vision is of a people that are not just living for today, for pleasure, but they're planning for their lives. They're planning to empower themselves to prosper. They're planning for ways to be better, to self-improve, to become more disciplined. Can you imagine if the world honored like physical fitness and personal growth and not glorified narcissism? Can you imagine if we had qualities that were of intellectual, philosophical, and scientific means? A world where science was always in the process of being reviewed and renewed. Not peer-reviewed, by the way. I don't like peer reviews. But a world where philosophy is appreciated. A world where physical fitness is honored. A world where intellectual ability is more than appreciated, it's encouraged. This is the world that I hope to live in and that I strive to build each day with these videos. So as we build and as we talk across each culture, as you do your thing, as you live your life, let us all as one revive the spirit of the humble, the spirit of the just, and the spirit of what is true, and let die falsehoods.